Hey, what's up guys? Little man with a big opinion here. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about EDC, everyday carry, and how it kind of pertains to preppers. Uh, I'm mostly just going to talk about it. I think I'll make a separate short video where I can just show you the things I keep on my pockets or in my pockets and stuff. Uh, but I'm going to discuss everyday carry um, between working at a school, between going to the grocery store. Um, Everyday carry also for me consists of the things that are in my vehicle. Uh, and so the term is actually, a pretty solid idea. It's things that you carry with you every single day. Um, and it can be something that's extremely expensive. It can be extremely cheap or very frugal. It can be bulky and heavy. It can be lightweight. Then the last category, which kind of goes along the lines of extremely expensive or extremely cheap, is like top of the line gear versus trying to be like a gray man. Um, but the number one item that I think every person should have on them, day in or day out, is going to be a pocket knife. And I say that because a lot of the times there are restrictions on the firearm, having a handgun on you. So when it comes to protection, having a pocket knife is probably going to be your best bet. And it has a multitude of different uses outside of self-defense. I honestly see my pocket knife more as a tool than as a weapon. And it doesn't have to be anything massive. I think mine has like maybe a 3-inch blade. So you don't have to have a Bowie knife, and you don't have to have one of those tiny Swiss Army knives. But something that very easily fits in your pocket. I think a pocket knife is important. And then next thing that I carry on me every single day is a lighter. I have made a fire with matches. I made a fire when I was younger in Boy Scouts with flint and steel, and it took forever. And I've attempted to make a fire with the bowstring method, and trying to just create a little coal and put it in a nest. Out of all those things, I'll take a lighter. If the lighter's not working, then I'll figure something else out. But the likelihood of the lighter not working is probably on par with your matches being wet or broken. It's on par with your magnesium stick not working. And it's not quite on par with flint and steel, but I would take trying to start a fire very easily over trying to do it primitive or bushcraft related. But the lighter provides the ability to create fire. And it's important as a light source, as a heat source, as a cooking source, and as a signal if you get lost. So that's why I think a lighter is extremely important. I've got my wallet, all my credentials, and it's getting harder and harder to hold on to cash these days. But I do go out of my way if I'm leaving the area where my bank is, because my bank, you know, there's the one location, and it's, City National Bank or City First Class Bank or whatever. But certain areas only have their one city bank that's been around for 100, 150 years or so. So if I'm leaving that area, uh, then I make sure I have cash. When I drove up to the Chicago area and Madison, Wisconsin and stuff, I maintained about $100 in cash, because that's about how much it would cost me to drive home. So it's mostly for gas in case systems are down, but we can also get, uh, you know, meals for me, my cousin, and my grandma. Uh, and just, the old saying, cash is king. Um, when the internet or electricity is down and you need a way to pay for something, cash is king. Uh, Next thing is some sort of notebook with a pen. I picked that up from, my time in ROTC. Uh, we had to have a little notebook every time they gave us some sort of, critical information for some sort of mission. We wrote it down. It typically involved grid coordinates, how many, you know, Op4 was involved, you know, layout of the area, stuff like that. But writing stuff down can be extremely important. Uh, and having a pen and a notebook on you, I think, is important. Um, I think most people get by just fine with the little 97-cent notebook from Walmart and just a small pen. Some people will want the Write in the Rain pen and notebook, and they make like a small little LED, red light that you can 3M onto the notebook. It gets crazy, but I think a notebook is extremely important to have with you as well. Next thing is a watch. Telling time, I think, is important. My watch also has a day on it as well. I think knowing what time it is an important thing. It can help with sanity. It can help with planning and preparing for things. And I just think from a mental standpoint, having a watch is pretty important. And then, if you're not at school or you don't work somewhere that has an issue with you having a firearm, then toss to the firearm that. I would say concealed carry is the way to go, just because you want to be the one that initiates that situation where it comes with a firearm, not someone else seeing it and making an initiation off of that situation. But as for my person, that's about it. No, a flashlight. I have a little bitty, it's like the size of the pin that I keep on me, flashlight. I couldn't tell you what brand it is, but I also think a flashlight is important. You could go back and forth between a handheld and one that clips onto a hat, or one that's got the band or whatever. That's your personal preference. Pocket wise, it's got a clip on it, and I think it clips pretty well onto uh, my pants. And so, I'll stick with that light over a headlamp. Alright, so the next group of things I typically keep inside of my car. And the first thing is a first aid kit. I think being able to provide trauma care is extremely important. You can be capable of defending yourself and your family. But I think part of that defending is also, taking care of them in a field situation. So, first aid kit, it's got a suture kit, tourniquet, GSW, packing, gauze, athletic tape, band-aids, antibiotic, triple antibiotic cream, stuff like that. And most of that stuff, having a CPR / first aid level certification really allows you to be able to use most of that stuff effectively. And so that's the first most important thing that's kept inside of the car. Next thing is the long gun. It kind of rotates just because I don't keep the same thing in the trunk. On this trip, it's the M1 carbine. The last time I came to Chicago was the 1022. For the longest time, it was a shotgun. Sometimes it's been an AR. Whatever you feel comfortable defending yourself with, use that. You don't have to, going back to the idea of a pocket knife, it doesn't have to be a Bowie knife. So you don't have to have a 50 cal in your trunk. And it doesn't have to be a Swiss Army knife. So it doesn't have to be a pellet gun. It can be anything that you feel comfortable taking care of yourself and your family with. It wants me to get onto a toll road, and I'm not doing that. So, let's dip out of this situation. So first aid kit, long gun, the standard get home bag that's got food, water, shelter, a little bit of extra clothing. It in itself is like an everyday carry on steroids. But I keep toilet paper in the trunk. I keep jumper cables in the trunk. Spare tire. There is a plethora of items that can be kept inside of your vehicle that can increase your chance of success in a crap hits the fan situation. I typically keep my physical maps within the trunk as well. Not trunk, within the car as well. Uh, and if they've got to go into the bug out bag, then they go into the bug out bag from there. If they need to be used on the car trip, then they get used on the car trip. And then, I guess the last thing I would say is, tailor what's kept in your vehicle for the amount of people that are in your vehicle. So your everyday vehicle carry could be more or less based off of the amount of people. That car is messed up. Based off the amount of people you got inside the vehicle in that, situation. But I think that covers the idea fairly well. The main thought process of an EDC or an everyday carry is you develop skills with tools that can be kept on your person at all times that increase your survivability or your chance to succeed at a task or whatever you want to call it. I would say in some cases tenfold. What kind of gave me the idea to make this video was I was hanging out with my aunt and my grandma. We went to Goodwill because we love thrift shopping. And I'm building a library of, primary and secondary sources, mostly, military history, that sort of thing. And one of the books that I picked up that has nothing to do with either one of them, but it is a very strong reason why I got into prepping to begin with. Because I read it at 10, 11, right around the time you're supposed to read it. At least that's what the guy made the book for. And it's called Hatchet. Kid's dad lives in Alaska. He's going to go see him. And his mom gifted him a hatchet kind of as a joke. Like, oh, you're going up to the rugged wilderness. You're going to need a hatchet. Long story short, his plane ends up crashing, and he lives for months and months in the Canadian wilderness, and he was able to survive with the hatchet as his only real tool. He learns how to build a fire and set traps and snares and this hatchet is his lifeline. And I'm not saying you're gonna have to be in a situation as extreme as that, but would you rather try starting a fire rubbing two sticks together, or would you rather pull out a lighter and the only thing you gotta worry about is your ball of tinder and your kindling and your fuel source? It takes a step of the worry out. That way you can more focus on other aspects of survival. you know, the pocket knife. You can use it for uh, making tools out of wood, cutting stuff, cleaning stuff. You can use it, as a, weapon. And then just go down the list of every other thing that you can carry and kind of figure out if its extra weight um, has more benefit and pros to it, than the weight of the item. And if it does, then that's probably something that you could think about carrying on you every single day. Uh, One of the things that I thought about selling on a website was taking an Altoids can and packing it full of as much, everyday carry stuff as I could think of. And I came up with this when I was like 15, 16. I wasn't the first person to, come up with it, but it was an idea. I made 3 or 4 in high school. I sold them to my friends. We never really did anything with them. But I thought about bringing that idea back to fruition when the channel got a little bit bigger. My knowledge on prepping has increased, and so I think the finished product will have a lot more bang for its buck than the previous one did. But, thinking of that at 15 and 16, I know the 3 or 4 of my friends that I sold one to, and then I made one for myself. We never used them, really. But I remember we carried them for months and talked about all the survival stuff that we could do with them. And of course, they traded certain things out. They added different things or upgraded this item to make a better, this. And so having stuff to carry on you every single day, if you know how to use the item well, then it can make your life easier when the crap hits the fan. And if y'all like the idea of me making the Altoids can EDC again, then I'll throw one together and make a video about it. Matter of fact, I'll do this. I'll throw one together, and when we hit 2,000 subscribers, I'll give it away to someone. So, that's a nice way to say, if you're not subscribed and you're watching these videos, then subscribe, because we're only 42 subscribers away from someone getting something for free. And like the video if you enjoy the conversations we have. Share the video with a friend or family member if you feel like they'd benefit from the conversations that we have. And, comment other video ideas down below or something you want me to cover. And catch you in the next one. Peace.